men are mean to women all the time on television.
Yeah.
She pouts for 2 seconds, all of a sudden she's a monster. Like, get out of here. It's only because he's hot.
This is Good One. I am Jesse Davis Fox, senior writer at Vulture and author of comedy books. My guest today is Janelle James. We discuss the evolution of her character Ava on Abbott Elementary and her pursuit of being one of the greatest stand-up comedians of all time. It's a pursuit currently on hold, but it's coming. It's definitely coming. So here is Janelle James. I'm here with Janelle James. Thank you for joining me.
Oh my God, listen to your NPR voice.
The only voice I've got.
Hi, thanks for having me.
What? It's like a serene start.
Yeah. No, I'm going to do my NPR voice too. Let's see how long I can stay in it.
We'll see. We'll be a competition. Who can talk like an NPR host longer? What's the funniest thing that happened to you this week?
I mean, I don't know if it's. I've made it funny in my head so that I can tolerate it. I have many brothers, but I have one brother that always has a business pitch for me every time he sees me, and this one was for a new healthy soda. And I don't know if you guys know, I'm not from a soda background family. I'm not one of the. I'm not, Janelle Sprite James or anything. We have no connection to sodas, but he wants to launch a poppy-like soda, he said. He'll be the new vitamin waters, like 50 Cent had, totally disregarding the fact that 50 Cent was 50 Cent when his soda launched. But anyway, I thought that was pretty funny because I was on vacation and just wanted to grab a hug and say hi and then go back to being, fucked up on the beach. But he really wanted to pitch me this and assured me he didn't want any money, just wanted to tell me about his idea. He already has investors, he says. It needs nothing from me except my ear for 45 minutes.
What does he, did he bring any soda experience himself?
Does he bring any experience in anything is the question.
Yeah.
No. No, and I have unfortunately already learned a lesson about going into business with family, and so he's too late. My sister's already ruined it for him. But yeah, so that's pretty funny. All I could do was laugh.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. So I want to start with Abbott Elementary. Mm-hmm. The show's in its 5th season. Mm-hmm. It's which is like a length of show that does not really exist as much anymore.
Yeah.
Do you remember the moment when you thought, oh, this could be like a thing that goes? Like, this is a phenomenon.
Immediately when I read it. Before it even happened, I remember I told my agent, I said, even if I don't get this, it's going to go. I was like, this is a good, I knew it would at least make it to pilot. And then if they made a good pilot, it would go. I was like, the script is good. I remember reading it and like being like, ha! You know how hard it is to like make somebody laugh out loud from the written word. I think one of the only other times I remember that happening was like Chelsea Handler's first book. I was reading that on the airplane and I was laughing like a maniac. People probably thought I was like nuts. So that I remember being like, oh, this is funny. And also how clear it was, how well drawn out the characters already were. And it was just a good pilot. And it was a good pilot in a pile of bad pilots that I had read, and not only read but tried to write myself. I was just like, yeah, this is gonna go. There's not much good things. You know? Like, I mean, stranger things that happen. Executives make stupid decisions all the time, but I was like, if ABC is smart, this will go. So,
did any of the bad pilots you read around then make it and are still on the air?
No, certain things went to pilot, and then they never materialized into anything. And I try to think that I have good taste. And so those were things that I read and I never even tried for because I was like, this isn't good. So
The Office had 9 seasons, Friends had 10 seasons, Cheers had 11 seasons. Where are you ballpark putting Abbott's run?
I'm not putting it anywhere, but somebody earlier said 10. I was like, word? Okay. I love everybody's optimism for me.
5 more years of this.
Yeah, I try not to bank on anything. Things happen, and so that's how you get disappointed. I just keep showing up every day that they call me. It's how I do it.
They keep on calling.
Yeah.
So to back up, you said everything was cleared. When you first read the pilot of the show, did you feel like you knew who Ava was? Do you know people like her?
Yeah, well, like her. Like I think my audition was very like, it's almost exactly like how I appeared on the pilot. Very like hokey. I remember she comes in, she says, "What it do, baby boo?" And just somebody that would say that is like, it just gave me like corny aunt, who's always like the dad joke equivalent of a woman. That's
Yeah.
what it gave me, the cool mom type of, and I think around that time, I think there was a principal in Chicago that was doing wild stuff, and it made me think of her as well. So it was like a mixture of like that personality of like, I'm cool with the kids, and
Yeah.
I got a little saying, I got a jean jacket. You know what I mean? That type of
You saying that, I can just imagine there's so many principals that must
yeah.
reach out and be like, I bet it's based on me. I'm like that.
Yeah,
I'm the
I mean,
cool
and that's a
principal.
little bit of me too. Like, I love a corny joke. You know what I mean? I love making a kid laugh. I love knowing. I was just talking to my nephew, and well, I was first talking to my brother, and I was talking about waiting for the new Grand Theft Auto to come out, and Castlevania on Netflix, and what's the other thing we were and my brother and his wife knew nothing about it, and I said, "You guys aren't cool," and I started talking to my nephew, and I feel like that's something Ava would do as well. Like,
Yeah.
she's up on what's happening. 6'7", right, kids?
That's what I was going to ask.
6'7". Yeah, she's one of those.
She's
So.
one of those. A lot changes in season 4, so I want to back up. Do you remember the first 3 seasons? How just
I'm
wrong.
joking, I'm
Do you remember how you describe how she evolved?
She evolved and I evolved. I believe. I know the first season she was very much in and out, always traveling. Come in the room, say 2 things, and she's back out of there. I mean, it was frequent, but that's how she was moving. Like, everything was on the move, and everything was absurd. Which is. But I feel like every character on the show was kind of that, and that's the way you solidify people's personality in a sitcom like this. Ava's just more in your face than anyone else. Like, Barbara is still the same,
Sure.
I don't want to say uptight, but rigid, older lady who's afraid of change. Janine is optimistic, like, and we were all those things for the first 3 seasons, and then Ava and I evolved in that slow down. Because I think, especially for the first season, I myself can see the lack of acting that I had done. I was really just laying into the jokes and not any of the emotion of it. And also, I think I wanted to say, I was talking really, I speak really fast in a New York kind of way. And so I was doing that. And I remember seeing people like, she talks so fast. And I'm like, I do, but I need people to know that I was also being told to talk fast. We're on a time crunch for the show. It's only 22 minutes, and I'm one of the, I guess, few people on the show that can talk that fast and still land a joke.
Yeah.
So there. But yeah, I think she's more relaxed. She's more relaxed in her not only speech, but in her role in the school and her role with her coworkers. She's not so much on the move. She wants to know what they think about things and hang out with them and all of those things. And she's also revealing why she is like how she is. So yeah.
As sitcoms go, traditionally, what happens is the writers write more to the person, the performing it. Is there a time where you read a script where you either felt flattered or almost insulted about how you were seen by?
Well, so I didn't know that. I didn't know that you kind of become the character the longer you play it. Tyler, who has been on sitcoms for his whole life, is what told me. Because sometimes I remember one time at the table read, I'm reading it and I'm like, wait a minute, like, that's what I would say, or I say that, and I feel like the writers took that from me. So, for example, I know exactly what I'm talking about. I always say, hot, so look at that guy, hot, or that something is hot. And then all of a sudden, Ava started saying it. And I'm like, wait a minute, how are you putting my personality into
I should get a writing credit.
I shouldn't, well, I wouldn't say that, but yeah. And so that kind of fucks with your brain. Is what it kind of gives me a headache when that happens. But now I have realized just recently, maybe within the last couple of weeks, because I've been thinking about it. That's the other thing. When you're shooting this much, you don't really get to think about what you're doing. I have realized that I'm not that special. Turns out there's other people like me. I thought that was only me with this personality. And no, other people say hot. They did take that from me. But anyway. But yeah, this woman, and especially as the show goes on, becomes more and more like me. and they can write to it because I exist already.
Yeah,
Like,
they meet you and there's material of you.
yeah. So that's been weird.
Do you?
And maybe I should get writing credit at this point. Because, yeah, not only in speech, but scenarios, things that have happened to Ava, some of her hustles. I don't know if they've taken it from me or if it's her, but it runs true to her character, the things she's doing. Yeah.
The thing I think about a lot with Ava is that she hired the film crew.
Yeah.
So she's essentially, unlike other people where you're assuming they are acting naturally, like
she's playing to the camera.
She's performing the entirety she's on the show. Is that how you play it?
That's how I played it, especially for the first maybe 3 seasons. I think that's a good point as far as how she's evolved.
Yeah.
It's cool. Like, first 3 seasons, very much looking into the camera, very much hamming it up. This is my show, starring these people, co-starring these people. And then as the show goes on, and especially in season 4, where we get to see her family and she gets the love interest and whatever, I myself have made a conscious decision to look at the camera less and be less conscious of it being there and yeah, perform less. You're seeing more of like the real person or who I think she is. Yeah.
She'll make these wild claims, and I don't know. I imagine different people see it differently. But when she says certain things, do you think she's telling the truth?
Yes. When I say wild things, I'm telling the truth. Ask anybody. I am, and it's been proven on the show that she. I guess, again, that's why I empathize with her so much. She's lived a lot of life. We kind of grew up in the same environment, public school, hustling, broken family, fabulous. Yeah, so I get it. Like, why wouldn't she? I think like somebody like Ava, grown before her time, hanging out with adults. Why wouldn't she run into Questlove of the Roots at like 16 and been hanging out at the jam sessions and say, hey, you know what you guys should do, and you know what you should call your group? Why not? Yeah, that could totally happen.
It is a thing that in the last season, there's the episode where she says like, oh, I'm going to do this TED Talk or whatever the version of TED Talk is. There's a different name. I can't remember it. But like the episode's building to the fact that she's probably making this up, and then she just isn't.
Yeah.
And then it almost is like the reverse of the ending of Usual Suspects, where you go back and you're like, wait, so does that mean literally everything she said true?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yep. I love that about her. And especially that where it could have been played like, oh, she leaves, she gets fired, and now she's so tired, and she's like trying to figure out how you're gonna maybe she moves in with this new boyfriend, and to stick it to her, now she has to move in with this guy that she called poor or whatever. Like that's the lame way of doing it. Instead, you find out she's telling the truth about everything. She has her own side hustles, and she's at the school because she wants to be.
Yeah. It makes a really interesting thing where it's like she just actually you're just seeing a character make a decision of like, I would like to do this. I don't need to do this. She just is a person being like, I would like to do it.
And that's how I do everything, baby. That's why my head hurt every day. I read the script. I'm like, lady, get out of my... No. That is how I do everything.
Was there a claim of hers that you read, you go, did you particularly like the idea of this character having this part of being her life?
Yeah, I love the roots story. I love that. I loved, because when I lived in New York, that's how I was. I was always around musicians. I remember having like Naughty by Nature in my first apartment for some reason. And this role has been good because I've done so much. I forget. I was just telling one of my glam, I've done so much, I forget it until I'm in the situation or Ava does something that reminds me, oh, I used to do that. That's happened to me. Something similar has happened to me. Again, I'm not that special is what I'm figuring out. Like Quinta obviously knows someone just like me.
Yeah.
She says it's her sister.
Really?
That I'm based on her older sister. So, yeah.
Who lives a wild life. Oh, not wild life, just
super cool.
So last
it's just super cool.
Yeah, I think that's probably
super cool broad, such as myself, Janelle James.
So last season, which was a big season for your character, Ava goes on a date with Oshan, the computer guy. And as a person who's interviewed a lot of comedians, it was fascinating to watch because it was really interesting to see her act how she normally does. She is just joking at him and not realizing he does not like it.
Which, I have, not my show, but I had some thoughts about that in that he's been pursuing her this whole time. He knows who she is. I mean, I guess with men, he's like, okay, now I have you alone. You're not I mean, the cameras are there, but maybe the cameras aren't as apparent, and you don't have to pretend around your coworkers. I want to know the real you, but somebody like Ava would be like, I thought this is what you liked. Like, she says that. Like, I thought that was our whole thing. Like, I say some bitchy shit, and you're like, oh my God, you're so funny. Like, that's what I'm used to. So that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, is there the moment where he says some version of like, this date is going poorly? Your face is like truly like a robot who like learned feelings from
I think I say, like, what do you mean by that? Like, why would you say that?
It's like you're like an alien. It reminded me of what comedians do. I think it's good because it's like, I do think there is, like, comedians, I think, have a thing of like they are funny, and people like them for being funny. And then when someone's like, "Who's
being serious?" Right?
They're
now.
like, "Why?" But I thought you just want to be funny all the time. Like, no, we want to know some other version of you. Do you feel like ultimately Ava's using joking as a defense mechanism?
Of course. Yeah, I mean, we learned that in that episode, and a defense mechanism, and also as a shield.
Yeah,
like, don't ask me stuff about myself. Just laugh at my jokes, and she's still on the move. She never really sits down anywhere. Like, you're not pulling her up for a moment of quiet contemplation or conversation. She's blowing past you while saying whatever. Yeah. So yeah, definitely.
Is it something you relate to?
Using humor as a shield. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, sure. Is it something that I have brought up in therapy yet? No. So thanks for that. But I'm sure I do. I'm sure I do. Maybe not as much as she does.
Well, it's also hard because you're a comedian, right?
Yeah, but I don't feel like I'm always on.
But what were you like before you were?
You had to ask someone else. Like, does Janelle seem like she's always on? Maybe I am. But what was I like before? I feel like I've always been myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've always been this, whatever I am. Whatever I am.
You're like, would be someone to tell you.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, people always like, you're funny, but I don't know if I'm being on or if I'm just, it's just my personality,
So what's it like now playing Ava in Love?
Ava in Love. She hasn't really changed that much, and that's fine. And that's also why I like the show. Like, Quinta's not doing like, we're very realistic. Nobody just changes because they meet a man.
Yeah.
You could pretend. I like that she's not pretending like she's some whole new person because this man is around. Like, she can still like him and still be the same person. And, he, I guess what she still sees in him that's attractive is that he doesn't let her get away with it. And he does it in a way that's not disrespectful. Like, he seems to understand why she's doing what she's doing and is okay with it for now, I guess, you know. And I was afraid she would become some like softy. She is doing like a whole my man thing, but it's very still much braggy and not oh, I'm ready to, be emotionally available and mature.
I think the best example yet. So there's the baseball game. Yeah. You go and you really want to be on the kiss cam.
Yeah.
And then
I totally empathize with that.
Well, and especially this character, right? It's like she literally hired a crew to do this. And he's not available for it, and you are upset. And then you explain why, and you assume it's going to be a certain sort of sitcom television moment.
Yeah.
But instead, do you remember what her explanation was?
She's usually she's dating athletes, so they're not available for the kiss cam, and you just a computer guy, so where you been? Where were you? Not on your mark. I totally got it, and I don't think she was, again, he knows who he's dating.
Yeah.
And I think she was, I don't think that was too high of a request of him. You don't have no money. Can I be on the kiss cam?
Yeah. But it's also like, his response is like.
What are you giving me?
Because his response is like, should I feel bad about the fact that you only dated athletes? And I do think it is interesting that like your like heartfelt reveal is a brag.
Is a what?
Is like essentially you're bragging to him, but it's like, but I
don't think she thinks so.
That's exactly, but it's both. That's why I think it's really well written because she doesn't.
If you take it as a brag, that's you because you've never dated professional athletes. I feel like anyone who took that as a brag can't.
Well, I don't
relate.
Not
you can't relate.
Have you dated professional athletes? Is it?
Yes.
And it's not a thing to brag about.
I mean. No, I don't think anyone that's with me today knows that I dated professional athletes. I don't brag about it, but I think that was a real thing for her. And that's what makes her so interesting to me. I don't think she's trying to be mean. She has no idea.
Yeah. So
that's how I try to play it too. Like she's just like, I'm used to dating. She didn't say it like in a mean way. She's just like, why don't you? This was a moment for me that I really wanted. It's something that I've always wanted, but I couldn't because I'm dating. Like, don't you get that?
Yeah,
where were you?
Her problems are her problems.
Yeah, and he has to. This is a relationship. You have to meet me halfway. I'm gonna lower my monetary standards, and you get on the fucking kiss cam. I didn't agree with. I went the backlash that she was. God damn it, I'm Ava. But the point is,
that's mild. So the writers, I can't imagine the writers were well aware that you have dated professional athletes to just sort of be like, well, Ava would be this type of person, and Janelle's this type of person.
Yeah,
wouldn't put it past her.
Probably.
So when you read that, you're like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was hilarious that she would say that. I wouldn't say it. See, that's the difference between, I need to learn from her a little bit to just be more straightforward. I probably had just pouted and made him buy me something or whatever, and that would have been, and I wouldn't have communicated as well as Ava. Mm-hmm. I think that was great communication on her part.
Yeah,
I think she was really upset.
Yeah, it is just. Yeah.
I'm looking at your face and I feel judgment. I feel the judgment.
No, I think
I don't think she knows.
I've never dated a professional athlete. I don't know what it's. I don't know what that reality.
Let's take the professional athletes out. I've always wanted to go to the rodeo or anything. I wanted to be I wanted the first donut, but my guy, I dated the donut man, and now we can be here in line to get the first donut. I'm just doing I don't know what an example is, but I've always wanted to do something.
Yes.
But the person I'm dating, because of their profession, was never there. Oh, I dated a traveling salesman, so I've never got to do Valentine's Day because he sells Valentine's Day related things, and he got to be on the road.
Like literally anything, right?
Anything. Right. So he always misses the holidays. Can you come and light the tree with me? And then you miss it because you go to the goddamn bathroom.
Yeah, like I think of like if you date a comedian, they are often working on New Year's Eve.
Exactly. And so people hear the professional athletes and they put it back to money. That's why people are mad at her. They're like, oh, he's poor, and she's like trying to be mean to him because he's poor.
Are people mad at her?
Yeah, I see it. No,
well, how do they communicate that? How do you, as an actor, learn that regular people watching the TV are mad at a fictional person?
Because I read some of the Reddits and such. I shouldn't say that, but I do. Sometimes my mom sends it to me.
Your mom's reading the Reddit.
Them, they don't get it. No.
They don't know what's like dating.
My mom has never been on the internet, never since this show. She's been deep. She don't like people talking about me. So yeah, my mom is reading and she's letting me know. I try not to read, but my mom sends it to me. She's like, they don't get it. I'm like, I know. But yeah, think about it like that. That's how I thought about it. And that's how I try to play it, because if not, then she's a really, truly a horrible person. And I don't want to play that person, and I don't want people to read her that way. But they will anyway.
Yeah.
Some people are just jealous. I get it. Some people see a confident woman and just immediately hate her. I'm used to that. So
yeah. I mean, I do think the show, if you look at the show's arc, it is like consistently you have this confident woman. And I think a lot of people probably hate her just because she's a confident woman. Yeah. And the show is like defying you. She's just making more and more confident and like not changing who she is as a person. She's just doing slightly different
Isn't that
things.
amazing? I love it. And she's revolutionary in that way. The same reason people will hate her is the same reason a lot of people love her.
Yeah.
A lot of the feedback I get is I wish I could be more like her. You know, like I said, I wouldn't have said that because I'm being mean to him. But no, where were you?
Yeah.
I want to be on a kiss cam. Like, it costs nothing. I brought you to the game.
Yeah, and I don't.
It was my tickets.
Like, yeah, you did
that all over again.
But also, it's like I don't think I remember anyone being mad at like Jack Donaghy on 30 Rock.
Exact. Men are mean to women all the time on television. Yeah. She pouts for 2 seconds. All of a sudden, she's a monster. Like, get out of here. It's only because he's hot.
Do you think they're built to last?
Well, that's what makes it interesting. Like,
or do you want that? Do you want like?
Yeah, that would be great. She will maybe soften a bit, you know, and it's all compromise. So now she's like, oh, okay. Even though I was being honest, I could have said that in a different way.
Yeah.
Like, so she learns that way. And then is he willing to stick around long enough for her to learn the lessons? Is he invested enough to meet her halfway and say, oh, these are the type, even though I think it's kind of stupid that you're so pressed to be on the kiss cam, this is what's important to her. Maybe I will take it more. I will take it more seriously, and that's what would make them work. So
that is who you are, and if that's to be with this person means that's who they are.
Yeah,
I think it's like a pretty easy request,
but that's hard for many couples. Period. But that's what makes the whole story interesting to the viewers and to me. So we shall see. I don't think she's that hard to love, and I think there's been worse portrayals of girlfriends on shows, but I think her confidence, the fact that she is so all those things, like you said, all the things that she says is true. It makes people insecure, and I like that because she exists.
You once said you rather Ava be fired than have any sort of redemption arc.
Yes.
Now she has.
It depends what people mean by that.
You said redemption arc, so I will ask you.
Where did I say that?
You said it in Variety in 2022.
Okay, that was the first season.
Yeah.
That's
why I'm saying.
Maybe
this
I
is why now that things have changed. That's why I'm bringing it up. But you said you'd quit if but you were joking, I'm sure.
Of course.
But you're not going to quit because she's had. I think last season would be as close as you're going to get to some sort of redemption arc where she though it's justified why she is willing to take blame for the bribes.
Mm-hmm.
But even the action of deciding to be the principal is kind of a redemption-y story.
Sure, because you're shown that she has other things she can do that is more that she'd probably make more money doing, and she chose to stay at the school. So that would be a redemption arc.
And how do you feel about now that you've post-redemption arc?
Yeah, I think I didn't know the breadth of Quinta's talent of not doing the ordinary, and how the character would evolve and how the stories would play out.
Yeah.
That I was doing it. I was answering it in a very simple way, and she's become much more complex than I was giving her credit for.
I was thinking that one of the main drives of this show is Ava becoming more like Janine and Janine becoming more like Ava. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, definitely. Yep. She goes to the district. She comes back slamming outfits, little attitude, more sure of herself. And Ava is becoming more optimistic and willing to see her coworkers as friends and all of those things that Janine talks about in the first season. So definitely.
Yeah, I think especially the way she picks who goes to the baseball game did feel very
right. I'm giving you a little something, but y'all know what I'm saying. I'm not going to say it that way, that type of thing.
Yeah, I'm going to pick only. I'm going to pick only the characters that are the ones that she likes.
Yeah.
There is bear with me. There's a sort of metatextual element to this.
Metatextual?
Because Quinta is the creator of the show.
Correct.
I would say Janine and Ava represent sides of Quinta or sides of a person.
She said that she got a little Ava. Who don't got a little Ava in them?
So the show is an allegory of reconciling the light and dark parts of oneself.
Okay.
What do you think?
Oh, that's a question?
That's a point, and then I go, what do you think about my point?
The show is.
I think the show, you can watch it as these are sides of.
And who's the dark? Ava?
Yeah.
Why is she dark? Again, because she's a confident woman? That's why I'm darkness to you? I don't agree with that.
I think.
What has she done that's so bad?
I guess if you think.
that she represents darkness.
I don't think she represents darkness. I think the light and dark can mean anything, but I think it's just more cynical and more.
She's annoying.
Sure. Well, it's not. Light and dark does not mean good and bad.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm taking it wrong. I would say that Janine's lightness is also proven to be not the most effectual way to get shit done.
I think that's the point. I think the point is that all lightness, or whatever this means, is not the way to be a good teacher or person, and all darkness is not the way to be necessarily a good teacher or whatever, but there is some sort of.
I mean, I guess you could say it that way. I would just say nobody is all one thing.
Yeah.
Unless they're a sociopath or something, and I don't think we have any of those on our sitcom.
Well, you know better than I. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say, that I think ultimately the show is about that. I mean,
super well-rounded, crafted characters.
I'm just boldly saying the show is good. Do you feel like there's what is a part of Quinta that you think people don't see? In so much as people equate you with Ava and people equate.
I mean, she's running a whole freaking network sitcom that employs more than 100 people and makes millions of decisions every day, and she's tiny while doing it. And that's what they don't see. She's amazing. There's so much work.
You seem to be. Was there any moment where you were not making fun of Quinta?
What do you mean?
I feel like you're very comfortable with she is the boss, but you will make fun of the fact of her being short, not unlike Ava does. Is there
Talking about me, Janelle?
Yeah, you.
Uh-huh.
Is that your dynamic? Like, do you feel like it?
Oh, yeah, I always call her short, but I don't know if I'm just in character or whatever, but she is. She's tiny. It's amazing to see her walking around doing all stuff, and she's so tiny. She really is. I think that's amazing. I can't imagine how hard that is. Not, it's funny, but it's also like you have to be in these rooms with very powerful people, Mickey Mouse himself, I'm sure. I've never been. And you have to get them to take you seriously.
Yeah.
Like that's a aura, as the kids say, you know?
I wouldn't know.
And power that is admirable. So she could take my little short jokes. I'm sure she's heard them all the time, and then it probably for her even more solidifies that I am very much like the character I'm playing, because I've been hearing her say that in different interviews. They're like, "Oh, who's most like that character?" And then she's saying me. I'm like, "Sis." But anyway, yeah.
Last year, the Always Sunny gang appeared on Abbott, and then this summer, the first episode of the Always Sunny season was sort of the reverse, where you see their perspective on it. What was it like playing Ava in that show's tonal universe?
I haven't watched that. I have not watched that, but I remember.
You're largely the narrator.
Yeah, I'm the I was kind of disappointed. I wanted to flip some shit over and punch somebody, but I think that's like smart. That's what people were expecting, that I would be the wild one.
Yeah.
And then Janine got the curse and punch a what did she do? Punch a locker.
She had to do that. She had to curse.
Yeah, so I was
a lot more than. Yeah.
I was more disappointed that.
But you do get to curse.
I do, but I curse all the time in my real life, so that was nothing.
Well, that's what it felt like. You're like,
I did see people say that, like, "Oh, Janelle seems so comfortable over there," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's my real personality." What was it like to do it?
Yeah, what did it feel like? Did it feel like you're doing anything different? Did it feel like
I was coasting over there? I probably should be, I probably me myself would be more in that universe than Abbott. So
there was parts where you were cursing, and you're like, of course you didn't curse on Abbott, but that character seems like it would be cursing this whole time.
Ava would?
Ava. Or just sort of like your voice. I mean, it just sort of seemed so natural. It wasn't like...
I curse in conversation a lot. I didn't know that. I don't ever know that until I watch my own stand-up, or my mother says, like, you curse too much or whatever. I think I curse so conversationally that people don't realize that I'm cursing when I'm, speaking as myself. And we curse on our show. We do curse on Abbott. They bleep it. I had that one scene where I'm talking about O'Shawn and they do the bleep, bleep, bleep. And that was the joke. But anytime they write me a conversational curse where I don't say it. I think it's interesting that Ava is the only person that's not cursing on our. It's too expected from me, and thankfully they agree when I'm like, can I say something else, or can we go a different direction? I don't want her saying fuck. Like, it's just so. She's already so kind of crass. It just seems out of place. But then on Always Sunny, then sure, you know, yeah.
Part of why it seemed natural is like your stand-up, I would not say is dirty, but it is unfiltered.
It is unfiltered. I don't do dirt. I don't think I'm dirty. I know, I don't have many things out available to be seen that was done within the last 5 years. So I think if and when I do stand up now, it'll be slightly different. But I definitely have a dark sense of humor.
Yes.
I would say that.
That we will get into.
Okay,
But
sure.
But considering that, what's it like acting with kids?
Cool. I like them. Like, no, my relationship with the kids on the show is, and I've said this before, I don't think child actors should exist. And so I just try to make it as fun for them as possible and make sure they're okay. Like, are y'all good? Are you having fun? Like, I don't want y'all to feel like this is a job. I've been working since I was like 7 years old, and I know how that felt. And so, and also, do you have a concept of what is happening and that you're on television? And of course, there are kids who are in the business and that's what they want to do. And I hope that that's most of our kids. So that's always my focus. So I'm truly being Ava because that's who they see me as. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, teach me the TikTok and whatever you're saying, and I'll do it with you, and just make sure you guys are having fun. So it's fun. Quinta said I'm always riling them up, but I'm just trying to make sure that they're having fun. I can't imagine having the maturity and the focus to be on a TV set. So I'm always amazed with them. They're so like good into 3 takes. I'm like, all right, what else are we doing?
Yeah,
To
yeah.
have a tiny kid doing 5, 6 takes is crazy to me. So
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, because I imagine some are kids,
Yeah.
like they all live in LA. So,
Yeah, no,
but
I mean, I think they do, but I know famous, and hopefully I'm not lying, but I remember in our early seasons, they had to go find kids. There aren't a lot of like dark-skinned black kids in LA who are in acting.
Yeah.
Acting, especially as a kid, is a very expensive thing. You have to have a parent that is free to take you around and do auditions and stuff, and that doesn't really exist in the black community. So yeah, we had to go find them. So a lot of them aren't professional actors. Now they are, because a lot of them have
Yeah.
grown up with the show, and I think that's amazing. But yeah, a lot of them had never been on a set or anything before. So yeah. I mean, we were learning together is how I felt. Yeah. Like, shoot, I don't want to work either.
maybe that's what you meant by you riling them up.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah. I just want them to have fun and remember this experience as a good thing. Yeah.
On your 2017 album, Black and Mild, you said, "I'm not an actress, I'm a clown."
I did.
And at the time,
That sounds like me.
you weren't an actress.
I wasn't an actress.
But now, how do you
amazing.
feel?
Yeah, I'm an actress. Yeah, I am. That's wild. I was very much against that for a long time. For a long time, meaning the length of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I am an actress. It took 4 Emmy nominations for me to admit that to myself. A very un-Ava-like state of being, because she would have been like, I am the best actor ever.
What was the resistance?
Because I love comedy and I know I'm good at it, and I haven't proven myself fully in the way that I want to in that medium. So I was holding on to it as if that was the only thing I can do. And I know that that's not true just from my life experiences, but I was just like, yeah, I need you guys, whoever I was talking to know that I can do this other thing, really well. And also got, this is also like pandemic related. I felt like I was right on the edge of getting doing whatever it is. I don't really have a vision of things, but I was on my way is how I felt. And in the pandemic and then I got this. So I was just like, no, that my other thing is what I really do. And this I'm good at this too. But that was me being insolent.
Like, it did feel like you were a comedian that like people in comedy were paying attention to and like, what's next? And like generally, I had an experience with you that I've had with a handful of comedians, which is like the first time I see you, I was like, how is this person both new to me and so good and so assured and so fully realized? And often it is the case where it's like people who started comedy slightly later in life. They just have the benefit of living a life and having things to talk about, having a sense of who they are. Broadly, how did the life you had before you do comedy focus you in terms of what you want to talk about when you were deciding to become a comedian?
Not necessarily what I wanted to talk about, but how I went about pursuing it, in that I had children and a husband at that time and no time to waste. So a lot of comedians, even though they start young, they don't have any responsibilities. So a lot of them have an alcoholic phase or a drug phase or a partying phase. I did none of that. I just went to the show. I did my show and I went home because I got to get people to school the next day and stuff. So it gave me a focus that, a lot of comics didn't have. So you can start young and waste 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and then it works out that we kind of started at the same time, because that's when you lock in, like, oh shit, I have no health insurance, whatever. Yeah. And then that's when comedians
when you
usually
moved to New York, did you feel a phenomenon where people were like, how is this person just moved here and so? Because I felt like you.
Well, yes and no, in that, so I'm sure I started in the Midwest, and by the time I got here, all those comics that I was performing with in New York had already seen me. They had come through, and that's how I knew to even where to go to. And also, I remember at that time, that was like the heyday of comedy podcasts. So I really was like listening, taking notes. These are the shows you should do. Oh, this person started here. This is the show you should do. This is the booker for. They would say, there was so much free information. I remember I would get pissed because people would ask me like, how do you get started? I'm like, the answers are all out there. Like I would always be like, you're not serious, because the answer is there. So I don't think people who were already good were surprised to find me. I know, like, now that I'm kind of out of the scene, I don't really know who the new comedians are. So when, like, Chris Rock came across me, he had no idea. But that's because he's out of the he's not at the open mics or the smaller comedian run shows. So that makes sense. And then anyone else who was like a road comic or whatever had heard of me because I was like heavy on the road at that time.
Did you have a sense of who told Chris about you?
He saw me, I believe, at the Cellar and just didn't tell me. And then like maybe asked for my info and then called me after. And I had no idea he had seen me.
Yeah, so the story is...
There's a guy, so he has a guy, Chuck Sklar, who told him to come see me. That's what it was. Told him to come see me. I wrote on a show with him. 50 Cent's first show. 50 Cent's first sketch show was my first writing job. Chuck Sklar was on that show. He told Chris about me. Chris came and saw me and then called me later. Yep.
Do you have any memories from 50 Cent, working on the 50 Cent sketch?
Yeah, he was so scary, but cool with me. Scary to everyone else, cool with me. He would come in, he'd say it needs more money and bitches in the fucking sketches. Like, this is too square. It was a lot of white dudes writing, and I was like, yeah, that's what I said, 50. And I also agree. More bitches and money. I thought it was fun. It was loose. He had a lawyer that seemed like he was in a mob. Other rappers would come through. That was a pretty cool job.
It sounds like a cool job.
That's a pretty cool job.
So I believe that
he had just launched his underwear line. That was weird. Anyway, go ahead.
Wait, I'm not actually, no, feel free to just remember things.
Yeah, I remember, because I remember I came in and he like put 2 packages in my hand, like, 50 Cent underwear or whatever. I think he was launching a lot of things around that time. But he was cool. He was always nice to me, but people were scared of him, as they should be. Yeah, that's how you command respect.
Yeah. So you met Todd Barry, I believe, and then through Todd, you also met, I believe, Hannibal around this time, Hannibal Buress, and then like Todd introduced you to Eugene Merman, and then you're just sort of like, when I moved here, it seemed like you're like able to be part of the Brooklyn comedy scene at that time. Since the Brooklyn comedy scene is not really like it was, like obviously there are still shows there, but the
I don't know.
I'm telling you, people do it, but it does not feel like a specific community of like only this thing. And
does anything?
No?
Yeah, there is no community anymore. So
can you describe what it's like for the children who are not around then? What it was like?
The Brooklyn comedy scene? Okay, gather around, kids. It was Or
what was it even like for you?
I came in during the height, the rise of the alt scene, which I thought was very exciting. So you have like the Chris Rock era; those are the superstar comedians, and then you have I miss like the Def Jam era where everything was like urban comedy, and then this started, and then you had the road There's so many segments of comedians. I don't know if that still exists, but you have the road comics who just are always on the road, and they do all the chuckle huts all across the land and everything. And then in New York and maybe in LA, I hadn't gone out there. There was the alt comedians who were, because they were doing what was called alternative comedy, weren't really playing in the clubs, and so they started doing comedy in like rock band venues and the back of a bar and the roller skating, like wherever. And I think Eugene Merman was like one of the first people to do that. And the lore is they wouldn't pass him at the Cellar. They wouldn't let him perform at the Cellar, which I don't know how he would go over there. So I don't know. And so I came in during that time, and so it was good for me in that I got to make a name for myself before and without having to kiss ass at the clubs. You know, I don't think I was alternative. I was alternative in that I was a Black person not doing quote unquote urban comedy. So that put me in that category, but it also got me the money faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talked about when you started out, you had a family at the time, which is different than a lot of comedians.
I still got a family. Well, they're dead. No.
Yeah, that's all we talked about. The tragic demise of your entire family.
So many gotchas on this podcast, I swear.
It was like a sort of Mrs. Maisel situation. Did you watch Mrs. Maisel?
I sure didn't.
Sure. So Mrs. Maisel.
Of course, I'm a comedian. I'm like, I'm not watching it.
I know. I didn't know if you like read the Mrs. Maisel Wikipedia page. So essentially, Mrs. Maisel is.
I heard it's great. Yeah.
And she's raising those kids, and then like, unlike Mrs. Maisel, she has a reason that she does stand up for the first time, and then she does stand up, and then like, the kids are not a major part of the show. How was it for you? Like,
now that you say that, I think that's why I didn't watch Miss Maisel. It was like I was like, hey. Too similar to what I'm going through. What?
How did you do it? Like, I think
I had an excellent husband who I trusted to watch his children while I was out working.
Yeah.
That's really it. People act like it was I was lucky in that way. A lot of women don't have that. Before I even started comedy, I remember being out on mom nights and having my friend's husband call to ask where the ketchup is. Shit, like my husband wasn't like that. So, or what does this kid eat? Shit like that. No, my ex-husband was like an excellent dad. And so even though he didn't understand what the hell I was doing, I knew I could leave my kids while I went and trust him to keep them alive and fed and on the go while I was doing it. So
how did you know stand-up was the thing you should be doing?
I really enjoyed it. That was it. Yeah.
I asked partly because in your Netflix half hour.
Which one?
You did 15 minutes,
15.
and the second one was half hour.
Okay, sure. Yes.
Which was great. It's really very good.
The second one?
Yeah. Actually, they're both great.
Okay. Yeah. That was during the pandemic.
That was during the pandemic. You do a lot of stuff about the pandemic. I think it's some of the best material ever done by the pandemic.
People don't know that. It was during the pandemic. Like, I was scared out of my mind. I do remember that. Like, it was my first time outside. I didn't practice. I remember we got a date. And they were like, okay, you have like maybe, I think we had like a month to go do shows. And I did not. I was like, I'm not going. COVID is going around. I'm not doing it. I remember the cellar had like a glass box you can do. I did that. I did a couple outside shows where people watched us from cars and blew their horns instead of laughing. That was traumatic. And I maybe did three of those shows. And I did not practice. I practiced in my head.
Yeah.
And so when people are like, oh, it was amazing, I'm always surprised because I didn't think I thought I could have done better if I had time to. And I remember being afraid in my body, like I'm gonna catch COVID out here trying to do this special. So thank you.
It's a really great special, and I do think it. One of my favorite jokes is the sort of section about Uber. Mm-hmm. For those who haven't seen, can you explain this sort of general premise?
I mean, it's the premise is women are unsafe traveling by any means. Even Uber, which at that time had come out as an alternative to being on the subway or on public transportation or walking the streets at the dead of night, which is when I used to be outside in New York because I'm a comedian and would be at night. And also the concept of men not knowing how in danger women feel all the time. So not only us feeling in danger, but men not sympathizing. So that was the basis of the joke and how men would act. And this is true. And also so many other women had said it. And it's the same question. So where they would ask, do you live here alone when they pull up to your, and me trying not to assume that every man is a awful predator, just could not understand why they don't know that that's a scary question to ask a woman, and why would they expect an honest answer to that. So the joke is, basically you have to like lie now. And yeah. And then the act out part, or the part where you're describing where you don't fall asleep in the Ubers or whatever, how do you make that, right? The watching a joke part, you're not feel threatened for you, but it's like that is the underlying idea of the joke, but you're just essentially talking about opening the windows and you fart on purpose and stuff. Yeah, I made it into a fart joke. I mean, that's what I do. I talk about serious things and then I put something silly on it to clear the air. Right? Because I farted. Anyway, I got the worst look just now from the galley. But yeah, that's what comedy is. The best to me, talking about dark things and making it light in a way that people will accept it and intake it and not feel as if you're speaking to or about them.
A signature thing of you is because you're so conversational, people will be surprised when you just say something that is like much darker than there was even on their radar. There's in that COVID one, you're talking about how much you like being alone or something like that, and then and it's like nice. It's like, and then you say something like, "We only lost 500,000 people."
I mean,
and that was at that time of the show.
Facts. That's the kind of comedy I like. Of course, there's different kind of comedians. Sometimes I'm working on being sillier. I definitely worked on being more that special. I definitely worked on act outs more. I used to be very like stationary and monotone. I was like in the Todd Berry School of Comedy for a long time, which I love as well. But I was like, let me find my own thing. I want to move around. And it also offers me more opportunity for surprise, like you said, an act out, like when I talk about going to space and I'm do that thing. I like to do a silly thing because again, I'm always talking about something serious. With the Uber thing, I was talking about something that's true that actually happened. Maybe not the fart, maybe the fart. Maybe I had the thought and I couldn't fart on command. I was like, oh, if I could fart right now, that'd be cool. But but that's true. I've had men ask me that. I've had to lie. Like, no, I have 4 roommates, or I have a huge husband who just got out of prison, or whatever. Or had my friend call me with a male voice to be on speakerphone. Like all those things we have to do to not be in danger, and then you don't want to accuse someone of being dangerous and then finding out that they are. Or it's just so many things that women have to think of to go home. That's what the joke is about, to just go home. Yeah.
Do you have a sense of where your darker sense of humor came from?
Ooh, I'm my brain. Because I'm always thinking about dark stuff. Yeah, where did that come from? I don't know. I'm just
Or start? Do you remember? Or the first time you noticed you had a darker?
Yeah, I'm just a curious person, and a lot of dark shit happens. I'm curious. I'm like overly empathetic a lot. I think that's a lot of comedians. We feel everything, and we're just trying to make sense of horrible stuff and relate and have people know they're not alone, and maybe even having and experiencing things and having those thoughts and thinking about it. Maybe I ruminate more than most people, and that's why I've turned it into a profession. But it came from my brain. I don't know where it came from, but yeah. But I think most of the things all start with things that have happened to me. I think also that's why the length of time between my material happens too, because I have to live life and things have to happen to me to feel like I need something to say. I'm not interested in just coming out with special after special after special and having it be just shit I made up.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this thing happened to me. It was sad. It was dark. I noticed something. I read something. I heard something. My friend experienced something. How can I make this funny and relatable and have people feel less alone in their experiences?
I think one of my favorite jokes of yours, I think, starts from that, which is the joke about the gorilla joke.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain the premise for people to see and where it started? Yeah.
Yeah, I used to be very online.
Facebook, right?
Facebook. Oh, I was big on there. Doing jokes. I was writing jokes. I'm in the same way I still am on social media. I post a lot, but you never see me. I don't know if people notice that. I post as my character. You'll see me as Ava, but you never see me. I'll post what I'm looking at, but you never see me. And the same thing with Facebook. I would never post pictures or myself or even what I'm doing. I would always just write jokes. And I got pretty big on there from that. And so as with everything, there's people who are mean to you. As it still stands here in 2025. And so, yeah, somebody came out, I would have you do a innocuous race joke, and then you get people mad at you, and somebody called me a gorilla. And I remember my thought was that's funny. I'm not a gorilla, so I thought that was funny. I didn't take it any kind of way. I know that that's a common racial thing that racists say, that, Black people are apes and all of that stuff. But I just think the idea of that is funny because, and the joke is, if you truly thought you were talking to a gorilla, wouldn't it be such a waste of life to not ask it gorilla things? I don't,
It reflects this sort of like...
I think I said, where's your sense of wonder?
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of angry racist people are missing. They're missing wonder. They're missing life. They're missing interactions with people who aren't like themselves. And so you're not even curious enough to say, what's up? What happens in gorilla land?
Yeah.
You're not curious enough to ask a Black person, what's your life about? What do you do? How are we similar? How are we different?
Yeah.
And so that's what the joke is about.
It's like the silliest way of capturing how close-minded this person is.
Yeah.
That their insult is that you're like, it should be opening them up to like a world of like...
Isn't that amazing? I'm a gorilla and I'm doing the same shit you did. We both on Facebook. Like, why wouldn't you Why wouldn't that blow your fucking mind? So that's the joke, but I was very serious about it. That's how I thought about it. Yeah. And that did happen. And I also used to write like racist people. I used to write them like, "What's your deal?" And frequently they were super sad people. I know people say that anyway, and people think it's like a clapback, but it's true. Nobody who has joy or anything happening in life has time to just like chase people down and call them gorillas, And so that guy in particular, I think if I remember, I do remember correctly, he was a vet. He was like currently in the hospital.
So it was what you say in the album. Like literally that's that guy.
That was true.
I assumed it was like, oh, you probably combined it.
No, it was that guy.
So he's a vet. He was in the hospital.
In the hospital, he sent me a picture of him like with his fucking oxygen or whatever thing. And yeah, we went back and forth. And I think I ended like, oh, so I'm going to his house for Thanksgiving. Ha, ha, ha. That's the silliness on it. But it was just like, yeah, just as I thought. Somebody with no wonder and nothing going on. That chose to be mean instead of curious.
What do you do with that knowledge?
Be sad all the time.
That's fair. That's a good answer.
Where do my dog thoughts come from doing things shit like that?
Yeah, and being curious.
Looking into people's psyches.
Yeah, that's the downside of being curious, right? Yeah. It's like he was so incurious. You were too curious.
Now I know that just exists,
So the last time I saw you do stand-up, it was largely about how the people coming up to you and wanting you to be Ava and you not necessarily particularly being her in the way that they
performance.
Yes.
Can
you talk about your real world experience and then what made you do that material? How has that evolved as you've been on the show longer?
So I think, when was that? When the show first started?
It's hard to remember.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah, that's probably, yeah. I mean, if I were to do stand-up today, I'd probably do the same type of thing, but maybe have a slightly different angle on it. Now that I've experienced it multiple times, and I understand have tried to understand people's motivation and why they approach me in that way. But when I'm going to assume it was when this show first started, and I was still very much reckoning with fame and things. It's wild because even though I was pursuing stand-up so hard, I had never thought about fame. And I also only thought about comedy fame, which is very niche. I was okay with that. I'm like, oh, if these are comedy fans, I mean, most people, like I still have a Facebook. I don't post there often, but those are people who were like at my first show. You know what I mean? They've been following me. So I feel like, oh, these are people who know what I'm about. They know my motivation. They know I'm a quote unquote good person, so I value that. And so with this show, these are people who only know me as a character, and that bothers me. I think the same way being called an actor was bothering me. I'm like, you don't know me, that type of thing. And so now as the show has gone on, I have leaned into not leaned in or accepted, my new...
Come to terms with.
Come to terms. I realize that most people are approaching me with joy, not malice. So I handle it better. I also know now never to go outside, so it happens less. So yeah, that's what has changed. First couple of years of the show was very hard for me mentally. Not only fame, but right out of the pandemic. Very sad.
Yeah.
But that's also where stand-up has helped me. Like, every performer is still living their real life where things happen and have to put on a performance, And then sometimes you don't want to do that in public when you're just walking around. So,
yeah. And also also post-COVID, strangers meeting you
why are you so close to me?
Yeah. I feel like you opened for Chris Rock in 2017, 2018 and felt like...
You say so.
Post that, there was like, I'm going to be like one of the great stand-up comedians. And then COVID happens. As we mentioned, you were on this show. I think you are a great stand-up comedian, but you are on the show. The show shoots 20 over. Where does that feeling currently live with you? Like as I said, you're...
No, I'm still going to do that. Just maybe not on the timeline that I thought. Yeah, still going to do that. In the short amount of time that we have off, I still do it. I'm like, yeah, still got it. That makes me feel good, so I know it's available to me whenever I'm ready. Yeah.
And the goal is
to be one of the greatest stand-up comedians, you know?
I mean, I
Not,
thought
and,
that
not,
was
and not the female.
Yeah.
That used to bother me. You're one of my favorite female. No, I'm one of your favorite comedians. One of the greats. I would love to be. And I think I could be.
Have you been offered an hour?
Yeah.
And you turned it down?
No, I didn't turn it down. It's open.
It's just like an offer.
My new goal is this coming summer. I hope to shoot it in the spring so that it comes out in the shop. But I've had a deal for like 3 years now. But I just don't want to put out bullshit. I really don't. Even if people don't like it, I need to like it.
Yeah.
So, and thankfully, for the first time in my life, I don't need the money. I don't, and I can put it out in my leisure. So my fan base is only growing anyway. So it doesn't. Yeah, I'm only getting hotter.
Yeah.
So I can take my time.
So now it's time for our final segment. It's called a Laughing Round. It's like a lightning round because it's a comedy podcast. It's the Laughing Round.
Okay.
These are shorter, easier questions. You can just...
You a good interviewer.
I try my best.
I knew what I was getting into doing a comedy podcast.
Man.
This is the shit I like to talk about. I wish I could.
If it wasn't for the show, I had a lot of really good questions.
Catch me in 30 years when we go off the air.
Yeah.
and all right.
Literally.
80th season.
Can't wait. Is there a joke from another comedian that you wish you could steal that you could have had in your act? It's not like you're stealing it. It's another dimension where everything's the same, but this is a joke you get to tell.
Not really. So here's the thing. I'm one of those comedians. God, I'm so egotistical. But I don't take tags or anything from other people. I don't like it because I always feel like... So I have two comedians I will take even... Here's what I thought from without being like so... I used to get so mad. Like, how dare you? So Roy Wood Jr. Is somebody... If he's like, hey, I had a thought, I'm going to listen. I'm never going to say it because I'm always like, oh, that's funny, but that's what you would say. I am still of the mind that and that's why it takes long.
Yeah.
I want to say what I want to say. And I'm like, not only are you giving me something I wouldn't say, you've led my brain in a direction that it probably wouldn't have gone. Now you waylaid me from where I was going and I got to get back there. And so there's jokes I love, but I don't know if it's nothing I would have said. Yeah.
Do you have a short story of an interaction with a legendary comedian, living or dead, you are willing to share?
I've never told this on a podcast. Let me give it to you. So Chris Rock, when I started touring with Chris Rock, I was poor. I was touring, but I was poor. I was like separated. I was very like, what's the word? Pridefully. Like, I'm not going to use any of my ex-husband's money. Not that he had much money, but I was like, I'm not going to take like money from my children. I'm only going to spend what I've made from stand-up on this pursuit, which is a very like, it's not a regular like job, it's nothing that, I don't know what the end goal is, but I'm just like, I'm going to be out here, I'm going to do the road. I was poor. Point is, so when he hit me up, my clothes were ratty. I was like I was touring, I was living out of my suitcase. I had these boots that were like mad dusty, but they were my favorite because they were comfortable. I had this cardigan from H&M that I wore to like threads. And I met him up on his first leg. It was in North Carolina. I opened... No. It was our first show in North Carolina. Our first show was actually at Jack Black's studio in Tennessee. Then we went... Jack White's studio in Tennessee. Oh, it was so cool. But anyway, did that show, and then we did North Carolina. And after this happened, I remember I was sitting next to him, and I remember him looking at my boots. After this, what I'm about to say happened, I thought back like, oh yeah, he was looking at my boots. I did that first leg of that tour with him. We did like 5 shows in that area. I flew back to New York, and then I was supposed to meet him again back on the road. And in between there, I got an email from his assistant that said, Chris Rock would like to fly you to L.A. to get clammed. And I didn't take it any kind of way. I was like, this is amazing, like Pretty Woman or, whatever. And I also didn't think I looked that bad because I was so used to looking bad. And also I started with white dudes. So I was in the Louis C.K. black T-shirt era. And I was also consciously and unconsciously trying to unfeminize myself so I don't get those remarks or all the shit that I was getting when I started. When I started, I would wear mini skirts and stuff, and I quickly let that go. And so I started dressing dusty. And and that ain't black shit. We not dusty. I forgot who I was. And so Chris Rock flew me to LA, put me in a hotel, had his stylist come to me with a rack of clothes, had a makeup artist come, and all these things that I knew. I just didn't have money. He just thought I didn't know how to dress. He just assumed that I just looked like shit. and gave me like a full wardrobe. And then I met him back on the road. And I remember I got on the elevator. I was all glammed up, like proud daughter. Like I was so proud, like, huh? But I didn't say anything. And he didn't say anything, which I appreciate. He wasn't like, see what I've done for you. He just looked at me. He said, you look not, oh, he said, you're doing well for yourself. That's what he said. And then we continued on with the tour. So that was amazing. And to this day, he hasn't, that's rare for somebody to do something for you and not mention it in the public or pull it up every time they see you. Remember when I fucking da-da-da? And to a lot of comedians' credits, a lot of men, also for men to do that for you as a woman. Hannibal has done that for me many times. I've gone into a room and they'll be like, Hannibal mentioned your name for this. And I have just seen him and he wouldn't have told me. So I really appreciate that. So that's that story.
That's good. Thank you. Let's do one last one you could pick of these options.
I had a shirt that was $500. I've never even seen things that expensive.
Do you have that shirt?
I think I've only kept the boots at this point. I've given away most of the things. But yeah, never seen things so expensive. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, here are the options. Something that people think is comedy that you think isn't, that's an option. We only have time probably for one. So joke that never worked that you think is funny, that you'll go to agree is funny, or best time you ever bombed.
I think everything can be comedy if you have good intent. I always say, I feel like people can feel what your intent is. People can know when you just talking to just be talking shit or talking to antagonize or talking to be mean or talking to be divisive. Is it funny? You know what I mean? Even when people like jokes, quote unquote jokes that are awful, it's always from a mean place. You're laughing because you kind of like, oh, finally I could get away with that don't mean it's funny. But I feel like most things, if your intent is to make someone laugh with joy, which is always my intent, either with joy or surprise, then anything can be comedy.
Yeah.
So that's the answer to that. The second one I can't think of.
Best time bombed.
Best time I bombed, it was at Dolphins, I believe, in upstate Illinois. It was a private event. I had said that I had a full hour and I really only had like 20 minutes. But it was like $300, which was like the most I had made at that point. And at that time, I would really stick to the contract. Like they signed me up for an hour. I'm doing, to the letter, And I was bombing so hard. And at that time, in Illinois, there's still sundown towns, and I used to do all those rooms where it's just all white people, and I can tell that they've never listened to a black woman talk for this long about the dark shit I was talking about at that time, and the silence, and I was dressed because it was like a gala or some shit. I was in heels, and I left my body. I remember like floating and watching myself and feeling faint. And then like re-entering my body, like don't faint, and then re-entering and finishing that fucking hour, and then being like thank you to like silence, and then going home, and then went to an open mic the next day.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you.